adventure is the call to Camp Widjiwagan. The Ojibwe Indians interpret the word Widjiwagan as meaning comradeship or friendship. It was fitting for the founders to select such a word since its meaning has been the key word for campers and staff members ever since. The camp spirit is found on the many canoe trails that lead into the National Superior Forest of northern Minnesota and into the Quetico Provincial Park of Canada. It is truly America's last frontier for real wilderness camping, since canoe routes are the only means of entrance into this land filled with lakes, fish, with tall pines and wildlife. This is a roadless area, and even the airplane, with the exception of the Government Forestry Service Patrol, has been banned from operating in this frontier. The camp, owned and operated by the St. Paul YMCA, is located on the north arm of Burnside Lake, 285 miles north of St. Paul, or 16 miles northwest of Ely. It owns 76 acres of timber, and its location gives it an enviable position as a campsite, since it has access to thousands of acres and hundreds of lakes for canoe tripping, its chief program activity. Ever since the first year, 1929, thousands of people, young and old, men and women, boys and girls, have enjoyed its adventure, its call to the wild, and its character-building activities. The purpose in operating such a camp as this is to develop Christian character through a balanced program, to offer fun, the happiest possible experience for each camper, to aid social adjustment where attitudes and conduct make for better living, to teach health and safety for development of a clean, strong body, to help campers enjoy the out of doors and acquire skills in work and play, to appreciate our American heritage, and to assume a responsibility to our neighbors in need. The program is conceived as everything that happens in camp, the planned as well as the unplanned incidents that arise, and at Widjiwagan the overall program is twofold in nature. Program which takes place on the camp property itself, and the program which takes place out on the trail. Here we have seen boys use some of the in-camp facilities under the direction, the supervision, and the guidance of staff members. It is very important that camp life is not highly organized, hour by hour, minute by minute, bell by bell, but rather campers of the age that come to Widjiwagan should be relatively free from too much scheduled program pressures. The feeling of having to follow directions all the time or of having always to be in an organized group is avoided by providing plenty of time in which campers can use their leisure time at their own rate of speed and with whom they wish. The cabin group is to camp what the family group is to our society. It is the living group that becomes the most important program group. The cabin group carries on together those activities that are ordinarily carried on by the family group. Eating, sleeping, personal hygiene, and housekeeping duties are a part of the life of every cabin. In addition, the campers carry on much of their play life together. They go in pairs and in threes to the beach to swim. They compete against another cabin group. They develop a stunt or skit for entertainment around a campfire. Or they may go on a hike to pick blueberries, as you see these two cabin groups do a few miles from the camp. The tables are set in family style, the counselor and his group at each table. There's a friendly atmosphere, and that goes along with each meal. Plenty of singing, plenty of laughing and good fun, and most important, plenty of good food. Evening programs vary from time to time, hoping to reach all interests and to give all an opportunity to share in some way or another. Here are a group of staff members putting on the hilarious midget act, which campers insist occurs at least once each period. The feeding of souls is just as important in camp living as is the feeding of bodies. Daily, the thoughts of all are directed in song and prayer to the God of all. The outdoor chapel on Chapel Point is symbolic of the real purpose of the camp, that is, to develop Christian personality and build a Christian society. The chapel service, conducted by campers and counselors, is held on Sunday mornings. Catholic campers may attend Mass in Ely. happy days. To the camper, Camp Widjiwagan means lots of adventure. To them, it is a place where he can make new and lasting friendships, enjoy the clean out of doors, engage in activities of interest, and learn the outdoor skills that will become an asset for him for adulthood. Here we have been seeing a demonstration of various ways of flipping a canoe when portaging is necessary to travel from one lake to another. It might look difficult to those who have never tried it, but the skill in being able to flip and portage a canoe is one of the highlights of the trail experience. Not all campers must carry a canoe, since there are also pack sacks to be carried. Each person shares the responsibility depending upon his or her ability to do so. Campers are taught to respect all of the equipment to ensure the best of service for themselves and for others to follow. As far as the canoes are concerned, the trail director would say, "When this canoe comes back, I want to be able to count all scratches on my one finger." Another phase of instruction and training for outdoor education is the swimming and swamping test. Here we see one of the instructors administer the second part of the swimming test, which is called the swamping test. The purpose is again to give confidence in their ability to use good judgment in case of an emergency. Now that these boys have fulfilled some of the basic requirements for the trail program, they are ready, with their counselor, to chart the trip which they have been anxiously awaiting. The length and distance of each canoe trip is determined by the group's ability. For the older campers and for the longer trips, there is one counselor for 5 campers, usually traveling in 2 canoes. For shorter trips and with younger campers, 2 counselors give the supervision that is necessary to personalize the instruction. Then usually 7 campers with 2 counselors travel in canoes. To provide practical experience in living in the open for youth, because we know that through the practice of the skills of camping and the knowledge of things that go with it, such as knowing how to use the resources of the open, is preparing them with basic skills for meeting the emergencies of life. Walt Whitman expressed it in these words, "Now I see the secret of the making of best persons. It is to grow in the open air and to eat and sleep with the earth." In canoe tripping, it is a good practice to start the day early and to make camp early. This leaves the long summer evenings for fishing, hiking, some exploring, and gives enough time to adequately prepare a good campsite and cook a savory meal. Campers learn best by doing and grow best by living. And here we see some of the values of this small group living. And you can be assured that the girl campers are just as enthusiastic about it as are these boys. The girls' grouping is done on much of the same basis, but in addition to the women counselor, 2 men counselors accompany each group. Groups come and go during the entire summer. While one cabin group is on the trail, another returns after an 18-day trip, which we see here. This trip was picked up at Nell's Lake, just a few miles from camp. There are 3 or 4 different starting points and different pickup places, all depending upon the type of country that the group wants to get into. Many trips leave and return from the camp's own canoe dock. These boys will be exchanging their tales around a campfire tonight when they present their log to the entire group. It is a great thrill to return to camp and be able to tell others about it. The day before the campers go home, the period is climaxed with a gigantic lumberjack day, where every camper has the voluntary pleasure of demonstrating his prowess of all the skills he was able to develop during that period. He competes against himself and gains points for his proficiency. At the end of the day, the points are totaled and the winner is proclaimed Paul Bunyan. The cabin group with the most points becomes his champion loggers. In the afternoon, as you will see a little later, waterfront activities captivate their interest, which is followed by a huge banquet that evening. And then the closing campfire ceremony is the grand finale until another year. Yes, friends, unless all signs fail, the organized camp as we see it here is about to celebrate its coming of age within the educational and social welfare of American life. It is now becoming recognized as a powerful and influential form of education, along with other academic, recreational, social, and religious agencies. You have seen the qualities that comprise an organized camp. It includes people, outdoor life, living in groups, sets up a community and its leadership and conditions, and they're designed to satisfy personal needs and interests. It is a selected environment where the personal contact with persons is 24 hours a day, greater than what many parents have with their own children today. The leadership is carefully chosen to meet these program needs, and the life of people are found in friendly, clean, and wholesome environment in the natural setting of the great out of doors.